Stella! Another one of these damn kids jumped in front of my car!
Alright, so I've been getting a little lax on my movie reviews again, but I saw this movie about a week and a half ago. It was Friday the 13th this month, and so when I noticed that, I figured I should try to catch another installment of the Friday the 13th franchise. So I think I actually watched it like Saturday night, but whatever. So I was always kind of hesitant, to go along with the rest of the series just because I know they slowly get kind of worse, hits and misses within there. So I'd seen the original one a couple times, and then I watched Friday the 13th Part 2 not too long ago. I did a review of that. I think it was probably in October. And so this is Part 3. Never seen it and didn't really know anything about it. So I just went into it pretty blind. It's on Netflix. And so this was made in 1983, and a year after the last, or 2 years after the last one. It's directed by Steve Miner, again, who did the second one. I wasn't the biggest fan of the second one, but it was a decent slasher film. So this one is so much worse. This movie is just bad. There's also, they tried to do some 3D with it. So this is Friday the 13th Part 3 3D, and that's super obvious. All of the 3D shots are just like stick out at you. There's a lot of people just holding a stick in front of you, like it'll be a stick or a bat. It's like coming at your face, and they just hold it there. It's really bad. And there's a lot of like wires you can see, and for some of the stuff. But anyways, so this doesn't really have much of a plot, actually. It starts again like the last one, where they kind of recap what happened from the last one. I can't remember the girl's name, but there's like one or two survivors from the last film, and that's when they ended in Jason's little hut in the woods, and she was trying to pretend to be his mom. And it kind of starts there, and we kind of see a recap of that, and then we get into this story, and it's very odd. So it's like the next day after last film, because we see a couple watching the news, and it's reporting about all of the killing that happened at the camp of the kids. And then we see like Jason is strolling around their yard or whatever, getting clothes, and then he kills a couple, and they're watching the news of what happened the day before. And that's where we get the first kills, and they're kind of okay. But then it just gets into something weird. We get like our main cast of characters. So again, we get a group of these teenagers or people in their early 20s, and they're gonna go camping. And I don't think they're at Camp Crystal Lake. They never blatantly say that, or it's never obviously shown. Maybe because they're at a farm, so it's really weird. So that's one big issue. They're not at Camp Crystal Lake anymore. They're just at a farm. And the biggest issue I had, well, there's a lot of issues with the movie, but there's no real obvious point of what this group of kids are doing. Why'd they go to the farm? They don't really say. Just, I guess you could assume it's for a weekend getaway or whatever. But they're not really doing anything there. They're all just kind of hanging out by themselves, and then in individual groups. So there's like two couples, and then another guy and a girl that are on a date. They say that they're going to be on a date, but a lot of times the people are just kind of doing their own thing. No one's really doing anything together, and it's really weird. So for the first two movies, you get the sense that this is a group of camp kids, the counselors that are getting ready for the summer season for the students or the kids to come, and they're getting the camp ready. Here they're just a group of kids that are just going to a farm, and there's really nothing going on. Eventually you get the Jason coming in, and he starts killing the people, but it's really, really cliche. You got, a couple, like a hot girl that has a boyfriend, and then there's the hot girl that's single, and, the guy's trying to get with her, and then there's a stoner couple, which is really weird. they were like the most cliche and horribly written stoners ever. They have tie-dye shirts, and the guy has a beard, and it's all like a bandana, and they're all just like, oh, I'm so stoned the whole time. There's a part when they're in the van, and they're smoking joints or a bong or something, and they're also holding weed in their hand at the same time. So they're like, oh yeah, we're stoners. I don't know. It's bad. There's also a interesting Super Troopers connection, because there's a part when there's cops behind them, and they think they're gonna get pulled over, so they all start eating the weed. I thought that was funny, but that turns into nothing. There's not like any funny scenes where they're all super high because they just ate a bunch of weed. That happens, and then it moves on. That's really bad. So bad 3D, super cliche. There's an awful 80s motorcycle gang. Two of the characters, the ones that are supposed to be on a date, that don't really know each other. The guy's name's Shelly, and I can't think of the girl's name. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Chris, maybe. But anyways, they're gonna go get some provisions at a gas station, and while they're there, they run into a motorcycle gang, and they're wearing leather and bike chains, and they're a diverse gang. There's a white guy, a black guy, and a woman, and it's just really bad. And they knock over the guy's motorcycle, and so they end up coming to the farm. They follow him to the farm. They're gonna get their revenge for knocking over their motorcycle. But whatever. And then Jason's just going around killing everybody. The acting's really bad. That's really weird too. Everybody goes to the barn and gets killed in the barn, which is weird. There's a couple decent kills throughout the movie, and one of the things that I thought was going to be the most interesting ends up being just okay. Is this is the first time we see Jason wearing his hockey mask, and so I didn't know that, but I knew he didn't get it in the last one, so I assumed he's going to get it pretty soon. And the way they shoot it is actually kind of interesting, because Shelly is like a prankster, and he's going around and he's wearing the mask for a while, and then he goes into the barn, and then he doesn't come out. Jason comes out with it, and so I thought that was kind of interesting. They ended up kind of ruining that by showing what happened to Shelly. That would have been nice if they just left it a mystery, but they didn't. And so yeah, this is a really, really bad movie. You could just kind of imagine what a cliche bad 80s slasher film is, and this is it. I don't think it's worth watching unless you really want to, see the whole series, which this is making it worse for me to, trudge through and watch the rest of them. Actually, I'm interested in the next one just because I know it has Corey Feldman in it as when he's really young. I remember seeing parts of that one when I was younger, but yeah, I wouldn't suggest this. It's pretty bad. And one of the other things I wrote down when I was watching this is there are multiple occasions, it happened so many times that I made a note about it, is that nobody in this movie wipes their ass when they're taking a dump. So there's at least 2 or 3 occasions when somebody's taking a crap and they have to get up because of something Jason's doing, or somebody's getting killed, and it startles them. And every time the person just gets up and walks out. And I know it's like you don't need to show somebody wiping their ass in a movie because it's just kind of gross or whatever. But at the same time, if you're going to have this done multiple times, and it just makes you think instantly, these people are just getting up with dirty, shitty asses and just walking around. I don't know. I had to make a note on it because it happened at least twice in the movie. That's just one thing that's always weird in movies. They don't want to show it, but at the same time, if you're going to show somebody taking a crap, the person's going to, I don't know, it leads your mind to think about other things. And I guess that's a good note to leave on because this movie is shit. So I would not recommend it. I'm giving it a 1 out of 5. Like I mentioned, the movie connections, there's a weird Super Troopers connection, and then just the other Friday the 13th movies. So that'll be it.